The views expressed on this Turnbuckle Tabloid live stream or Turnbuckle Tabloid podcast episode do not reflect the views, thoughts, or opinions of the RageWorks brand, including the RageWorks podcast network, RageWorks content partners, advertisers, and affiliates. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
It's your boy Jada Red Santy, your host of Turnbuckle Tabloid, here to say thank you to you, the listener, for being a part of the 7 years wrestling babble and all things ridiculous here at Turnbuckle Tabloid. The podcast has been here doing it big for so many years, and we appreciate every person who's subscribed and listened to the podcast each and every year. But I got something else for you guys. Yeah, we've been doing it up different this time of year. Starting to expand our wings a little bit more. We're hitting up the YouTubes, hitting up the Twitch, hitting up the TikToks. Yeah, boy, hitting up the IGs as well. We're doing live streams there, and I want you guys to be a part of it as well. It's going to be exclusive content there. So what you don't get on the podcast, you'll get on the live streams. So it'll be great if you guys like, subscribe, began following all those social media websites with Turnbuckle Tabloid, and believe me, you will not miss a thing. Catch us there. Got an ID to say this is just like you did the Heartbreak Chick, Tiffany Ann, and you're listening to Turnbuckle Tabloid.
Okay. This is Tiffany Ann, a.k.a. the EVP of Giggles and the Heartbreak Chick, and you're listening to the Turnbuckle Tabloid.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Always in lemon. Let's all out.
This is Fantastic Brody. You listen to Turnbuckle Tabloid. Tune in each week. You know it.
It might be Turnbuckle Tabloid cutting a promo. So it's been a week since the debut of the Wyatts, and the faction has gotten some polarizing reviews and opinions on their debut. I, for one, was very, very pleased with the aesthetic, the presentation, and just the look of what the faction is. I've made comments early on the hopes of what I believe the faction should look like, what it should be about. I'm not a big fan of the magic, sci-fi, hocus pocus look of the possibilities. I'm more into it being a ragtag bunch of misfits and hooligans that'll run rampantly through the roster and take out the core of the roster. But even still, I'm happy that WWE continued its commitment to Bray Wyatt's dream, his vision, his possibilities that we missed out due to his death. I also was very worried that it would be, I can't say over the top, because with the faction itself, they are going to be over the top, but I have to say that I was a bit worried that it wouldn't be appreciated or the audience won't gravitate to it. But sure enough, they did. Sure, the opening of the introduction to the group, when the camera pans and you go to the back way and you see the destruction that occurred, it was a bit extra, I could say the least. I could say that maybe certain aspects of it would be a little bit over the top, as people may say. Poor Chad Gable. But other than that, just the whole presentation and the execution of what they did with presenting a faction like this it's such a testament to what WWE is trying to do creatively. Now, I know the old rough shots and the get off my lawn wrestling fans are like, well, this isn't my thing. And it's not for you. You also got to take in consideration as for what pro wrestling is today. It's sports entertainment, and it's heavy on the entertainment. You know, no one said anything about when Kevin Sullivan back in Florida days was doing the whole mysticism and dancing with sadomasochism and the voodoo and all that stuff. Nobody said that. Nobody was making anything of it. Nobody mentioned anything about Taker with his lightning strikes or Kane bringing up fire from turnbuckles. Nobody was saying anything of that because it was the pageantry, the over the top introductions and its scale of being that forced entertainment that the WWE and those other promotions did to capture the audience's attention. This is what has been a long standing of not only professional wrestling, but being able to capture the audience and whatever they can get from them in all facets of sports. This is just what it's the nature of the beast. It's what we do. Is it hokey? Sure, of course it is. We know it, but at the same time, you want to move away from the disbelief that what we're watching is always going to be the constant, which is, grapples, submissions, ring, tosses out the ring, count outs, throw up against the ropes, leaps from turnbuckles, chair shots. Sometimes there's certain times and moments in which you want to be entertained by what's going on outside of the ring. Yeah, I have like I mentioned earlier, I'm not a big fan of the mysticism form of it, but at the same time, it's entertainment. This is what you go to a show for. You're going to be thrown with a different array of wrestling / gimmicks / performance, and this is what we're getting with the Wyatt Sick6. I've already heard that Jim Ross made mention of saying that this is going to be tough to be put over. Bray Wyatt was the charismatic core of the group, and it might be a bit difficult for that to go over. Cornette has already said that this is just some hokey malarkey, and it's all right. Once again, this is not for everybody. Deathmatch wrestling is not for me. So I get when other people like certain things and I don't. I get it. I just constant blood in a match is not fucking for me. I don't see a purpose for it. But there are people who enjoy it, and kudos to them. Cheers. But for me, I do like a mixed bag of different forms of entertainment when it comes to wrestling, especially in this magnitude. You got to take into consideration what WWE and where they are at right now. They're riding such a fucking high with audience, bringing back a crowd that was long gone for years, and now they're gravitating back to the essence of when they were fans. You can say what you want about the Attitude Era. I wasn't a big fan of the Attitude Era, but they had a large fan base there. Even the Ruthless Aggression era, it was one of the most fun and entertaining, it was stocked with talent eras of wrestling ever. Like, you know, you had that. And then you get the PG era and such, and, you know, you say what you want. You had what was going on there, fine. But right now you see such a resurgence with WWE and just how the audience is being brought back to the fold. It's amazing to see that now not only is the fans involved with what's going on, but the wrestlers themselves are so invested in it. They're so happy to be a part of what's happening this day and age. The Wyatt Six wouldn't have the ability to be able to do this under the old regime. Wasn't there, wouldn't have been able to flourish. I think with what happened with Bray early on and the gimmick matches that they put him in kind of left a blemish in certain areas of what he wanted creatively. And that's not his fault. That's not what he wanted. You know, the old man said, hey, we're going to have a lights out match. Why don't we make it just a Mountain Dew lights out match? And, you know, Bray, probably being a company man, said, okay, you know, well, you guys are helping me push together my imagination and my creativity, so I'll give you guys whatever it is you want as well. But we see here, and with his passing, what is the possibility of what he would have wanted to see happen with the old man out of the building. This past week on Raw, we saw video footage of an interview between Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas, in which Bo Dallas gave one of the most compelling, emotional, and touching, and also yet to the pin of a nail sharpness of a promo that I've probably ever heard from someone who was coming from a place of pain and loss, and at the same time was able to draw you in with the ability that we never would have thought that Bo Dallas had before. Remember, the last time we saw Bo, he was Mr. Bolieve, and he was part of the Miz Taraj and such like that. And we would not believe that he was able to put together such a promo that would, you know, lighten up, but also give such a dark sense of why the Wyatt Six is so important and why is it necessary for them to be a part of the WWE landscape these days. I'm very much into what was said and what needed to be said. I'm gonna play a bit of it right now, and we'll see if we'll get this kid take a sit.
Are you happy? Happy. How have you been since the loss? Do you feel as though you have been forgotten?
I thought that opening line was very key to what the whole feeling of not only of Bray passing, but also Bo himself. Remember, he was gone for a long time. And it was almost that he didn't exist anymore. And remember, Bo Dallas was an NXT champion, was working his way up to be one of the hottest young stars in the business, and he got paired up with the Miss Taraj thing, and he just fell by the wayside and just went away for a while. You know, he had an injury and such, but he just went away. So I think the tying of Bray and Bo basically means more than we didn't think about. You know, the lost plays in so many words here. Being forgotten plays with so many words here.
Do you even remember who you are? I'm nobody. There you are.
To me, I see that as it's finally him coming from behind the shell. He was playing this hokey, goofy Bo Dallas character and not really being who he wanted to be. He did it well. We hated him. We thought he was a slimy, kind of cheeky heel. But is that what he really wanted? Is that what he really wanted to be?
How did it feel when your brother died? Like the most important thing in my life was taken away from me.
By the way, it's scary when you really start looking at them, that how much alike that they are, especially now with the facial hair and such. It's scary, but a beautiful thing at the same time, because that's a true sense of family right there.
Like nothing was ever gonna matter again. Don't you think you're exploiting your brother's legacy?
Interesting question. That's what a lot of pundits and idiots, sorry to say you guys are idiots, were trying to say, that he's piggybacking off his brother's legacy and this is his only way to get over, and it's just utterly ridiculous.
All I ever wanted my whole life was to be like my brother. I looked up to him and I wanted to be him. I worked my entire career, my life, so I could have the opportunity, so I could work there next to him. And we were gonna rule together. And we'd finally made it. We were there and we had it.
It's so telling that how life is when you finally are about to achieve something that you really had built up for so many years. Bo came in, Bray came in, two totally different personalities on a roster, NXT, in WWE. Bray with the Bayou gimmick, Bo, like I said, with the slimy, cheeky heel, and distinctly they were tied together, but not. They were both each end of a rope, but yet still singly that one rope, and they wanted to get each end to be closer to each other, and they were finally making it. with the last run with the building of what was going to be the Wyatt Sick early on.
And then it was taken away from me. There is no one on this earth that feels more hurt than me from his loss. Not one person on earth feels what I feel. But what am I supposed to do? Let him become a mausoleum?
I thought that was probably the most powerful line in this whole promo. It's basically telling you that I'm not going to let my brother's dream, his creativity, his imagination just be left as a standalone object. I want to help to push this forward with what he had and what others could help to push forward of what he wanted. If anyone that doesn't know what a mausoleum is, it's just basically a place where they put a dead person. You know, you ever seen them in cemeteries? It's just a housing of a dead body, and that's what he's saying. He doesn't want his brother's creativity to be dead and just left at one place. He wants to keep it alive and keep it going. I thought it was a beautiful and poignant statement to make.
Let everybody forget about what he stood for, what he fought for, what he believed in. They wanted to forget about me. They wanted to forget about all of us. We made them remember.
This is something that I spoke to Whole Milk Mike about, and I mentioned to others where I said, this was a great point in the tying of what Bray wanted to do with the Wyatt Sick and what is a culmination of individuals who have been possibly tossed by the wayside by the company. Nikki Cross, who everyone has such, they loved very much high hopes for fan-wise. Remember when she was a superhero, when she was part of Sanity. She took the 24/7 title and threw it in the garbage. You know, she's a legit wrestler, like legit solid wrestler. She was, gone. She went on a milk carton for a while. Dexter Loomis, same thing, just disappeared. We know he had an injury, but what were you doing with him? Like, well, what another guy who's a great piece of work, Joe Gacy, who is a guy who was making moves, making strides in NXT, but was put together in a awkward form of this kind of, I guess, faction, but in a Wish or Temu kind of scale. And the return of Eric Rowan, Rowan, last time we saw him was in AEW and in WWE. It had been some time. So, yeah, it's a great time to say that these individuals are forgotten, especially with Bo. And he made a statement coming back.
We made them all remember. Yes, we did.
So what I took from that was, I don't want this to be something of a consistent thing. Like, it doesn't have to be often. Like, yes, this could be a novelty. This could be something that's a crew that comes in and just runs roughshod. I want it to be, as I mentioned earlier, I want it to be like a sanity kind of thing when Eric Young had his crew with Nikki Cross and Alexander Wolf and the ilk that was there. Wanted to be those guys that come in a better version of Retribution. I think that this would have worked perfectly a couple of years back, but right now is the time to where, with the climate of WWE right now, they're gonna do so much with this with this faction and this gimmick. There's possibilities here. Only thing I say was, why y'all killed Chad Gable, bro? I mean, I know he came back, but come on, y'all made that look crazy. But other than that, I thought this was a very emotional, very touching, very dark, very deep sensed, and breaking it down as I did when I watched it, I saw something more than just, still bringing Bray Wyatt's dream to life, imagery to life, but also what we haven't seen from Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy and the rest of the clan. What we're looking to see, and what's the possibilities that can happen there. So I'm excited to see this happening from here going forward. Other than that, guys, got much to talk about. Wrestling Rundown. Whole Milk Mike will be stopping in. Yeah, a lot on the table. We talk, baby. So much to talk about. So, guys, don't go anywhere. Stick around. Much more to talk about. See you guys in a second.
Hey, yo. This is the Nicheless content creator, D. Janai, and you are listening to Turnbuckle Radio.
Yeah, it's Wrestling Rundown with Jay Santy.
Turnbuckle Tabloid.
Enjoying the heat? Are you feeling it now? Is it getting the heat?
I hate it. I hate it. The light's off in my room for a reason. I don't want any more heat.
Yeah, I'm.
It kind of looks like I'm about to get interviewed by Uncle Howdy. So
yeah. You're embracing the dark there. Listen, if there's a way that I could just have like central air or like just put a muffler on my AC, I would. But you know what? Nah, fuck that. I gotta sacrifice the craft. Listen, I listen to other podcasts. There's other shit going on in their background. They got like it almost sounds like Bosnia and Kosovo and shit in their podcast. And apparently they're doing well with listenership. So what the hell, right?
No hate it. Just,
yeah, it's just fucking
the way people go live.
I'm just keeping cool, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just trying to keep it cool.
What's your ideal temperature, sir?
My ideal temperature.
What time of the year do you prefer?
I prefer that my balls are almost a nice shade of blue. I like when the temperature rises.
Well, I like it.
I like it around when the temperature starts rising around 42 degrees.
Okay, so you're very mid.
Yeah, very much so. I'm very into the coldness, and mind you, like I said, as always, I'm a summer baby too. Shout out to the boy I Respect the Craft podcast. Yeah, what's going on, Ray? Gonna be having him on the show soon. Got much to talk about with him as well. I prefer to maybe like a good 50, 55 around there. That's good for me.
Right.
That's a good temperature.
Yeah.
But
that sounds beautiful.
Weather is always like a conversation you start off with people with when you first meet them, or it's part of your work day. It's like, oh, so weather's bad out there, huh? And it's like, yeah. And after that, you're like, yep, time to move on. Next, gotta go. we don't have long conversations.
there's other things people try to talk to people about. Like, what color is your poop first thing in the morning? That type of shit.
You know what? I'm going to start doing that to have people just not bother me anymore. I'm going to start going that way.
But then, like, you get those people's attention, be like, you know what? I never thought of it that way. Or like, hold on. You want to know what my color was? And then you get into a whole conversation about colors.
You got to drop out like a real. You got to say something weird like purple and just fuck somebody's head up. Mine's a nice shade of purple. But other than that, wrestling rundown, ladies and gentlemen. When we discuss the news, what's going on in wrestling, the happenings, the ins and outs, and just whatever intriguing that's happening in and outside the ring. And as always, I'm the Norm McDonald of this segment, and listening to Wrestling Rundowns Weekend Update. Just a quick shout out. I've been listening to JR's book, Business About to Pick Up. So far, it's pretty interesting. He discusses his days of commentary, but also at the same time, he's discussing the best matches he called and what was the call during it. The last one that I listened to was, I believe it was Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Butch Reed. That angle there. No, excuse me. No, it was Dutch Mantel and Butch Reed. That one. It was actually there was a lot of significance in that. So far, so good. So far, it's a good book. I'll let you guys know the full synopsis of that.
I know. I just saw like he's back in the hospital again, so hopefully he gets better.
Yeah. And that good old.
I was talking with my sister the other day about wrestling, and she heard, like, I was watching, like, SummerSlam 2003, and she heard JR and Janelle, and she's like, are those two alive still? I'm like, they're barely hanging on, unfortunately.
Yeah, but, by a thread, but okay. But still,
it's
listen, JR has mentioned that he said that you have not heard the last of their match calling, so we shall see. It looks like they still probably have one or two matches left to call down the line.
Maybe one more. Just one more.
Next up, did someone hear of a debut that occurred on SmackDown? A certain Samoan werewolf that debuted? Mm-hmm. Jacob Fatu finally makes his debut on SmackDown. There's stories to say that he's been signed for some time and was actually at WrestleMania in Philly getting a feel and the ambiance, as they would say, of the company and such. He also cut a lot of weight. He looks fantastic, and his debut, wow! Talk about making an impact, Mike. What's your thoughts about it?
You know what's fucking impressive? The dude lost 35 pounds, and not for nothing, I saw like reaction clips. He kind of looked like Jimmy from the back, because I think Jimmy had like the red hair in his red streak in his hair for a little bit, so people got confused. And then when they realized it was Fatu, it's like, oh my god, it's actually him. I mean, you said it. I mean, he's been signed since WrestleMania 40, and then so about like 3 months now, and now he finally debuted. Man, he definitely made an impact. I did like how the commentary played up as I like how dangerous he is, but some people could say, right, well, people interpret it as they alluded to his past, but I didn't think about that at all.
Well, there's already.
What did you think?
I thought he looked fantastic. I thought he cutting the weight, and mind you, meeting this man in person, hanging out with him for some time, a couple of times, and him being the size that he was. It wasn't like the size like you and I would be, a bit soft in certain areas. No. Mm-hmm. When you gave him a pat on the back, you felt that there was muscle tone, definition, and size on him. It wasn't as though it's like, nah, this guy isn't soft. He's got something going on there. So, for him to cut the weight, they said they had him at 265 now. And I'm like, damn, that's just a lot. This is a lot of weight cutting.
My guess is that his heaviness was probably, I would guess, close to 300.
Yeah. So
just looking at him the way you. But the thing is, with it's scary with Jacob Fatu. For a guy that big, he could move. Like he was moving. Like he was always fast, but he looked like faster on Friday. I mean, like the way he was running around the ring, and then the height he got on the Samoan splash to the announce table. I mean, it was very impactful. And meanwhile, that was like the third biggest thing on the show. But it was the most. I would say the biggest debut of the week last week. Could say with Uncle Howdy stuff and Joe Hendry on NXT. I mean, WWE was killing it last week, honestly, with the debuts.
Yeah. Just for anybody who's just checking in, make sure you guys like, subscribe, be a part of the vibe of all of Turnbuckle Tabloid's outlets on all podcasting outlets and all social media outlets. Guys, check in, show us some love. We'll show you back and jump into the conversation when you feel like it. It's there for you. As for his debut,
I do have a question for you.
What's up?
I have a question for you. So they advertised it. There's a 6-man tag for Money in the Bank. Is he legally could be able to go? Is he allowed to cross to Canada?
Canada, I don't think that's free. He's free for that yet. I mentioned it before sometime back that was probably going to be a problem with him possibly going overseas or across the border. Him having a criminal past, although his criminal past was technically supposed to be a YO, meaning a youthful offender, because it occurred when he was around 18 years old. Right. It seems as though there's some stuff that's still lingering there. But they found a way. WWE has found ways around things before. Jimmy has gone to certain places as well, so maybe they find a way to make some exceptions for him.
I mean, we've seen how they do it for the Usos the last couple of years, and Jeff Hardy. I mean, that dude's not allowed overseas. So,
right.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see on the next couple of weeks on SmackDown. But
right. Next up,
very, very impactful.
Next up, Caleb Braxton's leaving WWE. I was kind of surprised by this. I was shocked by hearing this story.
It caught me by surprise, but considering what she revealed, that she was like the third string, not behind like Kathy Kelly and Jackie. I mean, I could pretty much understand where she's coming from, where her role very much diminished in the past year. So, I mean, she wants to do something else outside wrestling. Good for her. And I was laughing about the AEW Rupert that apparently she had talks with them, but then she came out and said like, "Oh, I didn't talk to anybody. I want to do my own thing." And even if that was true, she was talking to AEW. She'd be the third string person behind Renee Paquette and Lexi Nair and RJ City. Like, would be like the fourth option.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, well, that's kind of silly if she would do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to go to TNA for a little bit, go to TNA.
Well, she mentioned on her Instagram and her Twitter feed saying that the rumors are true, that she's had conversations, and in fact that she alluded to saying, "Why would I want to stay in wrestling when why would I go to another wrestling company when I'm in a number one wrestling company at all times? So, like, why move anywhere else?" So that kind of makes sense. But I wouldn't be surprised about anything else. But good luck to her. She was there for 8 years. Damn, that's quite some time in a company.
Yeah.
Next up, congratulations to Cassie Lee and Shawn Spears on their second child. Talk about two of the most good-looking people in wrestling having children. Jesus. I
never really thought of Shawn Spears as good-looking.
Oh, he's a good-looking man. Believe me. I've heard women swoon over him. Believe me.
The chairman?
Oh, yeah. They swoon. I swoon sometime as well, but I don't do it in front of people. I try my best.
Swoon and he swing. People swoon and he swings.
Ah, I saw what you did there, Mike. Saw what you did there. Good one. Nice.
Shawn Spears, if you're hearing this, you can see it.
They swoon, I swing.
There you go.
Next up. Wow. My man, 2 Gangster Scorpio. Wow. Woo, fam. If you don't know, Tuco Scorpio was arrested on June 15th for a stabbing, which occurred at his shoot gig. Apparently, he's a security guard in the Midwest. and got into an altercation with a patron of the store which he was working at. Seems as though the patient was unruly and combative when Tuco Scorpio asked if he could please not smoke a cigarette within the store proximity and the property. Apparently looks as though that the patron was none too kind and tested Tuco's gangster and fucked around and found out. Seems as though the victim received injuries on his arms, legs, and his head from stabbing. So Tuco Scorpio was arrested and released on bond and is awaiting his next update and trial date. Woof! That's yeah.
Jay, honestly, what else is there to say about this? Just let the legal system do their thing. I mean, it seems clear cut.
Yeah. Listen. I've heard stories, and we've heard stories about Tuco, so we shall see how he works out.
I'm trying
to figure out whether or not
be jealous about this.
I'm just worried of whether or not he'll be able to leave the state to go if he wants to do other bookings. I know VXS is huge on booking him, so I wonder if he's able to leave the state.
Are we really caring about his booking at this point? The man, you just read of what he was arrested for.
Hey, listen,
that's the last
he claims
people should be talking about.
He claims self-defense, so free Tuco. Next up,
shh, don't start.
Oh, you're gonna love this one. Chelsea Green has mentioned that if she's able to win the Money in the Bank and cash in, she wants to bring back the Divas belt. There's no such thing as dead air on audio as well.
I'm giving a thumbs up and
do both.
We're live on video too.
Yeah, do both.
Yeah, I like it. It fits the gimmick. I mean, she said that her favorite wrestler is Kelly Kelly. I mean, it fits the gimmick. I mean, it would be funny when she cashes in if God forbid. I'm still hoping for Tiffany Stratton, but
Jesus,
it'd be a funny visual.
Oh God. Oh. Jesus Christ.
The heat alone. Oh. She pulls the Medusa, pulls the Divas title out the garbage.
It would be just as bad as watching Michelle McCool and Layla walk around with two Divas titles after they broke it.
Yeah, that was very disrespectful back in the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't a fan of that. Not at all. No. Please, let's keep that belt in retirement. Unless they find a way to make... No. I'm not even going to say that. Fuck that. Nope. That's not even entertain a design. No, thank you.
The guy that heals a lot, you're not in favor of this idea?
No.
Even if it... Wow.
That belt is atrocious. That is... I know little girls who didn't want that belt.
Okay.
And the little girl I know in particular was my own child. She didn't want that belt.
That's your daughter has good taste.
Well, she does, actually. Thank you. Next up. Do you know who Gabby Tuft is?
Yes, I do.
Gabby Tuft.
She's former Tyler Rex.
Former Tyler Rex is returning to the ring. Apparently, Gabby Tuft has announced she will make her return to the ring, and she did. Do you know what company it was? I didn't get the notice on it.
I think it was in someplace in Hollywood.
In where?
Like in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
I know it's them, but yeah, she debuted her. She returned to the ring. She has like the mother gimmick where she has two people on chains with hoods on their head. So. Like a
dominatrix.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kind of like that.
Oh. Yeah. I'm interested.
Sorry.
No. I was gonna say that I liked Tyler Rex when with the dreads and the look and the stuff, and I didn't think that they were a bad wrestler at the time. So I'm interested to see how they come back in the ring this time around.
Yeah, I do remember Tyler Rex where back in the day, he came out of nowhere on the SmackDown brand. You said he did have an interesting look. she kind of has a similar look now, just with a female body. She has like the dreadlocks as well, and then the gimmick. I mean, it's her decision. It's what she wants to do, but I'm happy for her, honestly.
Good. Yeah.
And from all reports, she got a standing ovation. This is awesome, chance. Good performance overall.
Good. So we'll see how that unfolds down the line. Next up, is Cody Rhodes injured? Cody recently announced at a live event and made a proclamation that he has been working injured. Is this a work?
Probably not. I mean, if they haven't acknowledged it on TV, so what? Wait, is it a work? No. He probably is hurt, but they haven't acknowledged it on TV at all. So
he did mention that he's working with 2 broken ribs, which, by the way, not an easy task to do when you're a wrestler. It's not an easy task when you're sitting on the couch watching wrestling, let alone being in the ring. So. So we'll see how this plays out. What's your thoughts about what we're leading up to with Cody and their build up for not only Money in the Bank but for SummerSlam?
I figured as much with the builds going on, like who's going to be. I didn't even know about this Cody being hurt, but that probably explains why he doesn't work as much on TV anymore. He probably does just the big matches, and time will tell that like one wrong move, it's over. That's the scary part about all this. But as far as him it's probably him and Solo for SummerSlam. I mean, it's going to be a big spotlight for Solo Sikoa. But with the tragedy of Roman's father passing away. I do still think Roman comes back for SummerSlam to progress the storyline because, like you mentioned, Jacob Fatu, Hikuleo's on his way. The Rock is probably coming in the new year. I mean, they really can't afford to have Cody Rhodes go down right now. So I would be very cautious with him for the next couple of months, hopefully.
Next up, Triple H doesn't want to bring back the Hurt Business. This was a proclamation made by MVP on his socials when a fan asked about whether or not he'll be bringing back the Hurt Business. Is this a work?
No. I think MVP is legitimately frustrated. I mean, in today's day, you could fool the fans, but let's be real here. MVP has not been seen on TV in over a year and a half.
Well, he was dealing with injuries. We saw that he went to, I believe it's Brazil, to do the stem cell treatment. He and Big E was out there, so I believe he's still dealing with injuries on that.
But as far as his current role is like a manager, and the only time I've ever seen him as manager is when Omos comes out for battle royals on the Royal Rumble. I mean, MVP, I feel, is a talented guy that's being wasted because I know Omos is a thing where he's a free agent, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. But when you have somebody like Jade Cargill and Carmelo Hayes, like you have these people in the main roster that could benefit from MVP being a mouthpiece or just being by their side,
right?
He's definitely being wasted. As far as like the Hurt Business, his MVP's claim that the Hurt Business is just the bloodline now. I mean, I could see it. I mean, it's because MVP was definitely the wisest man before Paul Heyman was. So MVP could not be. I'm thinking more than likely he's probably not one of Triple H's people. That's probably what's going on. Triple H probably has nothing. Like he doesn't have a real vision for him at all, which kind of sucks.
I believe it to work. I actually believe that. I believe that's the next story. In any case, but I believe it to work. I believe that it's actually something that it might not be the Hurt Business, but I believe that it will be something else that can possibly be tied to something of that magnitude. Maybe another formation and such of a super group. WWE is now being more open with factions and groupings, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have another one. I always said factions makes money. Everybody wants to buy a t-shirt. Everybody wants to be a part of something. Bullet Club was like the quintessential team with grouping faction that showed that. So When there's a faction, there's money to be made.
I do have an idea thinking about it. Because I was thinking about this too when I saw VP's comments. I was like, have him come back and kind of make a statement of this, but let him be representative for certain different people. It's similar to a certain real life thing, but the big baller brand. Have him represent your Omos, your Carmelo Hayes, and even because eventually we know she's got to Jade Cargill. But let him represent those three different people. I followed him back in the day when he was mad at Punk and Brock at the same time.
Right.
That'd be something to do for MVP.
That's actually a good start. As always, Mike, lumping all the black people, right?
You're thinking the same fucking thing. Don't even lie. Don't lie.
Next up, Gigi Dolan out for 9 to 12 months, 9 months to a year. Oof.
And what's the injury? ACL.
Yep.
All these fucking women. There was a stat I saw that they said that like over 20 women have been hurt with ACL since 2022.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they doing down there? Even Shotzi from the main roster got ACL torn.
Yeah. There's it's a common injury in combat sports, yes, but
not this frequently.
There's a certain it has to do with a lot of conditioning, stretching, flexibility. And for you to tear your ACLs at such a rapid and a large capacity says a lot. So I believe I heard rumblings that they were investigating doing some statistics on what's going on and what needs to be fixed down there.
I mean, Cora Jade, Shotzi, Nikita Lyons. This is her second ACL tear.
Right.
You know, as you said, right. And so Ruka just came back from ACL as well. And like you look at her, like she has a giant fucking knee brace on. It's like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's by the way, shout out to all everybody who's been watching on Instagram and on TikTok right now. Shout out to our boy Al Bundy, Nick, and Smiley. Yeah, my boy calls himself Al Bundy. And Smiley's watching on the IG, and also people joining in on the TikTok as well.
We need a wrestler's perspective on this because,
yeah.
Toward ACLs, it can't be this fucking frequent, especially with the women.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
Like something's going on.
That could also be done with weight training. A lot of times, especially if you're doing a lot of squats, you could actually put a lot of wear and tear on your ACLs as well. Yeah. Next up, do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Oh, bro.
Do you say his name when he appears?
You knew on Tuesday when they announced the Battle Royal and they alluded to people from other companies. First off, I didn't expect fucking Frankie Kazarian. And then I knew that Joe Hendry was going to be the fucking person to do it. And they gave him the big entrance. It's so jarring to have people from outside NXT to get the biggest reactions.
Right.
I mean, it just shows you how popular some of these people are. Like Jordan Grace and now Joe Hendry.
That and the fact it's WWE finally giving that opportunity of partnership, connecting, doing some for the other. I know a lot of people were upset. Hendry came into the Battle Royal, got tossed out immediately.
But they did for the meme. That was the only thing they wanted out of that.
Meltzer also made comments about it, saying it was just a waste of a spot and all that such. And I'm like, no, I actually am more intrigued now to see him again and pop up and have a shot down the line against somebody. I believe that this is going to be beneficial for him on the pop back end.
Worlds Collide, I'm telling you, NXT and TNA, the week after All In or Wembley.
Shout out to Oski's in the building. Oski's in the building.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm.
Does he have a shirt on?
I don't know. It's his. It's his. Matter of fact, no, he doesn't have a shirt. He's nude. What a pig.
Well, I mean, he's in Florida, so it's hot down there.
Yeah.
What you
got an excuse. No, I I like I said, I know people were, they were upset with it. I thought it was great. I thought the banter he had with Shawn Michaels actually put it over as well. And the guy is over as fuck, man. And mind you, you mentioned Hendry and you mentioned Kazarian as well.
Yeah,
making it.
Kazarian got the jobber before they went live. He got the whole crop of people in the Battle Royal, and once he was like the first person to come out, people were like, oh shit, it's him. And then once Joe Hendry, then the place exploded.
Then you get
it's funny because I knew Joe Hendry before all of this, before he was the say his name. I don't know how you would call it, how you describe it, but I remember him in ICW as the local hero, WCPW, like that type of stuff.
Right.
And I knew of him doing the parody entrances before all of this. So it's kind of insane to see how people have gravitated towards him. But you know what? I figured that's going to happen. When you get the main spotlight, that's what's going to happen.
And I although it was their NXT debuts, I forgot that there was actually a WWE return for both of them, for Kazarian and Hendry. They both had a short stint in the company prior. So, I'm like I said, I'm one of them that came late to the party. I'm also that guy that came late to the party for Eli Drake, aka LA Knight. But I'm that fan that is now excited to see what comes after this, or what can occur afterwards. Because he did make a mention, he will make a return.
Who would you pair him with from NXT if they did the Worlds Collide show?
Oh man!
I mean, the only person I could think of, like character-wise, it would be Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Can you just think of the song parody that you would do on him, like some Godfather, or Soprano type thing?
Right. Or well, I wouldn't be mad with William Regal's son.
Charlie.
Yeah, I would be good. Yeah, I would like to see it with Charlie Dempsey. Yeah. Next up, WWE to be uncensored on Netflix. Triple H has recently announced at Pat McAfee show that the WWE will be lightening up on their censorship and such. I don't need it to be full-blown a cuss fest on the show. I am more with what he's talking about when it comes to the audience participations on the networks where, you fucked up, this is bullshit. Like, don't bleep it, just let it go. Asshole. I'm fine with that. And if you want to drop a little shit bomb here or, ass there, that's fine, but we don't need to go
unless you're The Rock.
Yeah. Oh, please. That was the other thing he mentioned. He says, you really can't tell The Rock what really to say out there. And I get it. You're now pandering to a different audience now. Yes, the kids are still around, but Jesus Christ, at this day and age, parents, educate your kids. Be a parent. Stop letting the world fucking be your caregivers for your kids, and start doing what you got to do.
I mean, let's be real. It got worse when they did it on Fox, because when The Rock was around and he was cursing 24, like up into like a fucking sailor, the audio would cut out. You'd be like silence, and then I think there was one side that's like "Die Rocky Die," like the old school side, and the whole screen went black. That was where it was like, okay, this enough is enough. But I guess what Triple H was alluding to was that when they were on Netflix, they'll be more lenient. I mean, the last couple of weeks have been more lenient. I mean, we had fucking murder on Raw last week, and we heard "holy shit" chants, and I didn't get them bleep it.
Yeah. I think
it was the last 5 minutes of Raw, but they in certain instances just let it play out. Let the fans, because eventually the fans won't. There's not going to be 10 straight minutes of "holy shit" or "fuck you" chants. Crowds know when to do certain, how long chants will last.
I like the old days of Raw's War when I believe it was after the 10 o'clock hour, they got a little bit more risque, so they were a little bit more.
All the babies are in bed. Let's have fucking fun.
Yeah, let's pull out the guns and start shooting people in at home invasions.
I mean, the early thing, the old school Raws too, there'd be like Shane's a pussy, crack whore. It was way worse back then.
Speaking of which, Shane McMahon is no longer signed with WWE. And then also at the same time, there was discussions that Shane had reached out to Tony Khan for AEW. For what?
But not reached out to Tony Khan himself, but he reached out to the talent and got a feel if for a space for him. Fucking no. We don't need Shane McMahon on AEW topics, and that's not going to help them.
The only thing that I would possibly entertain would be if it was that struggle for power kind of situation, like gimmick wise, he's fighting or buying into AEW kind of thing. For like years ago with the invasion and stuff like that.
If he's the guy the Bucks want to be in charge type of thing,
right? That would probably be the only way that I would go with that. But could you really trust a McMahon to go into the other company in a somewhat opposition to be a part of that company?
It's not even that part for me, honestly, because just the fact that it's Shane McMahon, like, I mean, aside from him coming back that one Raw, has he really been that fucking good? I mean, he sweats through his fucking shit every time he cuts a promo. The last time we saw him, he tore his ACL through the fucking leapfrog.
At Mania.
Yeah. Like, he made an ass out of himself. Like, do we really need to see him pop up on TNT one more time like he did 20 years ago? Not really.
Yeah, that'll probably be the only thing. It'd be like
it would help him more than the company. That'd be the big issue.
It'll be a callback to an audience that wasn't around for it.
I mean, the Sons even said, my dad doesn't watch that shit. Meanwhile, I don't know. It seems one-sided to me. Just the fact that, because Paul Levesque's in charge of WWE, that no McMahons are in the wrestling business. Let's be real here. In 2024, there should be no more McMahons in the wrestling business.
Just when he thought it was going to be the transitioning, the handover was going to happen to the younger generation of McMahon, nope, doesn't look like it panned out that way.
It got taken away. Taken away because of...
Well, it was actually given away because that's what Vince did. He gave it away.
By force. They had to rip it out of his fucking hands, Jay.
I mean, well, I'm talking about even before with him selling the company, he pretty much sold, he gave it to TKO, and then it was basically ripped away.
What he wanted.
Yeah.
He didn't want to fucking give his family the whole company.
All right.
Selfish bastard.
Next up, speaking of family, our condolences go out to the Anaoi family. The while Samoan Sika passes away at the age of 79. Sika, also known to everyone as Roman Reigns' father, recently was on TV maybe about 4 years ago, and was
during the
pandemic, and basically anointed Roman as a tribal chief. Our condolences goes out to the family, and always sucks to lose a family member, but not only that, a parent. Next up, does Taz have heat with Jordan Grace? Did you hear about this?
I saw the video because I saw on the video that Taz posted. He goes, "I didn't even know who Jordan Grace was." Meanwhile, and I see Jordan's response goes, "Oh, I did. I have to keep remembering to tag the legends when I quote tweet them."
Right.
Because the thing was she posts her pictures every day of like her working out. And she quoted Taz, like, "Survive if you can, survive if I let you." And then people are tagging Taz in it, and then he goes, "You stealing my gimmick, butter?"
Nah, he says he's a swing and a miss.
Right, but
he did commented to say,
"You stealing my gimmick."
Yeah, he did commented. He says, "I've never met her personally, but I've heard of her and seen her work. I enjoy what I've seen so far, but you got to understand that I'm protecting my trademark, my legacy, and when I see stuff like that, I have to ensure and let everyone know that I am the originator of it." I get where he's coming from, But at the same time, it's like,
Silly.
it's a silly thing, and he's been known to be somewhat that way. But I can see both sides of this.
He's been sensitive for years about his shit.
Yeah, I can see both sides of this. Next up, also condolences to Pat McAfee. He wasn't on Raw this past week due to the passing of his father-in-law. People thought it was actually a tie-in to the Wyatt Sick6, but that was not the case. Shout out to Michael Cole. They brought in Miz to help out with the situation, but Miz was thrown into a match by R-Truth. Good job there, Truth. And Michael Cole actually wrote out that show by himself for 2 hours.
Good on Michael Cole. I mean, God, let's be real here. Ever since the old man left, he's been so much better on commentary.
Yeah, definitely. He kind of reminded me, doing that, of Joey Styles running ECW's commentary all by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to him.
I did think, because I was doing in the Indianapolis, I was thinking, in the past week, like the UI QR codes will popping up on the show. I was thinking, this fucker's gonna get God on Raw, by Uncle Howdy. But then real life unfortunately happened. So I mean, I do feel it sucks, but
by the way, just good.
But it sucks that real life interfered. Just
to get your take on it, on the why it's
the biggest angle of the year, and I'm like, where's Jay? Why is it Jay Cole? They forgot about me. Did he get caught by Uncle Howdy?
No, I was waiting because everybody was already discussing it. I spoke about it in cutting a promo, and especially with JR, who made a comment saying that Bray was the one who carried out that comment. I mean that group that was formulating. He carried the charisma. He had the vision for it, and it's not going to be the same without him. And it's like, it hasn't even started really. Like, just let it sit in the oven for a little while and get some heat. I mean, let's see how it unfolded. Your thoughts about what as we've seen in the past week or so when it came to the Wyatts?
It's interesting you say like are they trying to get heat? I mean, like, are they supposed to get cheered? Or are they supposed to be like booed? Like what's the real direction here? Because I mean, they kill people, but this is a tribute to Bray Wyatt. Like, what the fuck do you want? Because the reaction for when the lights went out, people just immediately get up, put their phones up, and it's crazy. The first night they did it, I was taken away. I was like, oh my god, the visuals, the presentation was spot on. Then Bo Dallas got that fucking great promo on the VHS player, or the VHR player that Michael Cole called it. Thanks, Michael. But I mean, you just know, like, they're continuing Bray's legacy in the best way they can, and people could say, "Oh, this shit doesn't belong in wrestling," but you know what? It's different. Like, we can't have the same bullshit or the same thing that has been working for like over and over again. We need some variety. As long as they stay away from the spooky stuff, the magic stuff, and they just have this guy be a cult leader, and all these people are just following him for mission. There's no magic involved. I give this 2 thumbs up. Because you have people in this group that are talented as hell, but it's all going to be in the ring that dictates if this succeeds or not at this point.
I'm a fan of the of that same premise of let's not do the magic. Let's keep it as like I said, how Sanity was.
Keep it simple.
Just keep it like how Sanity is.
Five deranged people that just want to make a statement in WWE. Like, they say, like, oh, WWE abandoned us. They made sure that the first night they said, you're not fucking abandoning us anymore. We're taking everybody out. I was one of those people that are like, oh, they took out Gunther, they took out Carmelo Hayes, they took out Braun Strowman. Like, where's Triple H? But that's what Bray Wyatt made us do as like fans of his, because his creativity was just out of this world. And I again, Bo Dallas didn't know how he had this in him.
Yeah, and I like more of the line when he says, having my brother's creativity. Was it going to be a mausoleum? I thought that was not only brilliant to say, but it was fucking touching to recognize. But also at the same time, I love the fact is that they forgot about us, and that whole premise of, you forgot about Nikki Cross, you forgot about Dexter Loomis, you forgot about Eric Rowan. I like that, and they, you threw Joe Gacy by the wayside after his group didn't do well at NXT. I like that, where it's, you're going to recognize us now. That's what, and like I said, I talked about it cutting a promo. I want that kind of a feel for the Wyatt Six.
Yeah, let those guys cut the same style promos too.
Right. Next up, Shayna Baszler is returning to Bloodsport, coming to Brooklyn. I like this. I'm really over with this, man. And they're giving her a little bit extra TV time these past couple of weeks as well. I see what they're doing there. I like it.
It just shows you that if certain people aren't doing anything on TV, expect them on the indies now for certain promotions. I mean, Bloodsport is GCW event, or is it
GCW?
Yeah. So they're willing to work. So we definitely have a feeling of which promotions WWE is willing to work with at this point. So
right.
Good for Shayna Baszler.
I know. Brett is like fucking twiddling his nipples for getting some kind of connection with WWE. Shout out to GCW and Brett Lauderdale and that crew over there.
That's
a lot of work.
I want to move on now.
Yeah.
I don't need that visual in my head.
And lastly, going into the main event, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Will AEW bounce back from the lowest Dynamite rating that they have ever received? We talked about it last week, and we said, will NXT eclipse Dynamite? I thought they would have probably got in the 800 rating area. I speak of NXT with the TNA possibility crossover. And they were almost there, but the shellacking that occurred this past week on previous Dynamite on the I guess 2 episodes away from Forbidden Door. Was this a shocking rating to you?
Absolutely. I didn't think. We always like to joke. I love AEW. I like the idea of AEW, but we always joke about like how low can they go. I didn't think 500,000 they were going to get this low. It seemed impossible because when you look at the lineups every week, we'll go through tonight's one and just see and make a prediction. But it's like, yeah, I didn't expect it. I expected on your Friday shows of Rampage because who gives a fuck about Rampage and Collision. I would think in those shows get those like 600,000, 700,000. It just gets annoying when you see that Dynamite can't get over 1 million. And you're just asking yourself, especially if you're being like, what the fuck do you do?
Well, they blamed. I'm not sure if they blamed or their fan base blamed, but they blamed the NBA and the NHL finals for their low ratings. But in the previous years, they were still able to be in the 1,950,000 radius when it came to Dynamite. Also, this time around, they blame the unfortunate lead-in of Black Panther, the movie, seen as though that Big Bang is usually their lead-in. So I've noticed something that Dynamite has been doing in the past few months when it came to the Big Bang lead-in. They've been allowing Big Bang to go in at the to finish at the 8:01 mark, and Dynamite starts at that same time, meaning they'll get that quarterly hour at whatever Big Bang comes in with. Big Bang still has a strong following of viewers, even though the show's been done for years. They still have fans of it, and they grab that quarter hour, the first 15. Then after that, you see a significant dip. They've been finding every which way from Sunday to give an explanation or a reasoning why they got that mark. But the real, I guess the real reasoning that we could talk about is it's not been good. I'm sorry. It just hasn't been good.
Creatively, at least.
Yeah.
The wrestling, it's two different stories. Or like the wrestling's fine, but there's no creativity on this. I mean, I have the lineup right here. We'll go through it. I mean, we'll just judge like why people. And I don't know how to phrase this because it just sounds insane to say. Like when you look at this show, you have the champion, the challenger, Swerve Strickland and Ospreay in the main event against Gates of Agony, former stalemates of Swerve. That's the main event advertised. You have Jay White and Ray Phoenix. That's going to be a great match. You have the Blackpool Combat Club against LIJ, 6-man tag, 6-woman tag as well. O'Reilly and Sabre Jr. You have MJF playing a promo in his hometown. You have Mercedes Moné. Daniel Garcia is also in his hometown. And it's like, you see, that's the lineup for tonight, and you're thinking, will this crack? Like, now it's like, can they crack 600,000? Can they get above this?
I'm also under the belief that this is what happens. It's the ebb and flow of wrestling. Fans could be fickle. Yeah. Fans will always, they'll be on their cultists, joining one side to another. Which, by the way, Tony Khan tells a fan that AEW beat UFC at TV ratings. This guy's
just sit down and shut up.
There's also I had it marked down. I have to look for it before, but there was also another reasoning that they gave for it, the dip. But at the same time, I still have to say that you got to start putting two and two together and start saying the booking that you've been wanting to have, which is very Japanese dream match orientated. It's not connecting with. Oh, that's what it was. It's not connecting with this audience. By the way, another thing they want to blame black people for. They blamed it on Juneteenth celebrations. That's why nobody was watching it. The black people were not watching it. They were too busy in the streets barbecuing and partying for Juneteenth. You lost your large black audience because of Juneteenth.
500,000 black people were doing something else.
Exactly. They were all watching Kendrick's concert that night. That's what it was. That's it. Blame Juneteenth and blame Kendrick Lamar. There you go.
So all the white people and the ethnicities were just watching Dynamite.
Right, exactly. They weren't paying attention to anything else. Not the NBA Finals, nothing else. They were watching Dynamite. Come on, guys. Listen.
I mean, it's insane. I mean, aside from their first year when they were telling the Hangman story, can you really think of any consistent storyline going on that's compelling?
Listen, they just...
I mean, now they're doing pay-per-views every month, and again, each week they have to do what they have to do, but really, for a guy that says, I've been watching wrestling for all my life, and I know what I'm doing, you really don't know what you're doing, sir.
They had 2 face-offs in one night. You had Will Ospreay facing off against Swerve, and then you had a face-off later on in the night with Will Ospreay facing off against MJF. What the fuck?
Not even 3, because they have the women do the confrontation too.
No, I was saying 2 face-off with the same person. Like that's what I mean. Yeah, I'm like, but yeah,
the tease and everything. The tease and everything, Mr. Cianci.
Oh, it's what is it? We're laying out the breadcrumbs. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're laying out the breadcrumbs. Hey, come on.
And MJF and Ospreay maybe in the future, but that's not the match you're doing right now.
Exactly.
Okay.
Talking about pissing on your champion, your current champion right now, and that's the big thing too. You're pissing on your current champion. Your IWGP, their champion is on your show. Thank you, Mox. And We're not focused, but I'm not going to do a whole fucking tangent on it. I just wanted your opinion to see whether or not if AEW will bounce back. They're not facing any competition. The presidential debate is tomorrow, so they're not facing any competition there. All major sports is done. Baseball is the only thing running right now. Maybe Olympic trials. Sorry, soccer. Soccer's on. Let me see if they blame that.
I mean, the NBA draft is tonight, isn't it?
I know the draft is tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. So, okay, my fault. But I mean, I can only hope they go higher. But if they go lower again, there's a problem.
Yeah,
and somebody has to. And I know with the TV rights deals coming up, I that's still vague to me. But I'm representing TBS and TNT. I'm looking at this and saying, like, either bounce back in a month, or I don't want to give ultimatums.
They're not going to.
The numbers keep going down. I mean,
I know what Conan is. I listened to Conan and Disco briefly when they discussed it. And they were talking about, this is just a drop in a bucket money wise for them, but at the same time, network wise,
right.
Is the network really going to invest? They just lost the NBA. Are they really going to invest into a sports entertainment show that doesn't seem to be grabbing an audience? Are they happy with them garnering, 650 to sometimes 750, 760 ratings every Wednesday? Are they happy with that? The time will tell.
Well, it seems like it though, because that's all we keep hearing, that they're happy with the numbers.
I guess,
regardless what they are. I'm just saying, if this is consistency, it's like the TNA effect too, when they always pulled to 1.1. Like Spike TV was always like, "Oh, we're happy with the numbers."
Right.
It's like a weird thing with wrestling fans when they say the numbers get low, it's bad, but for the networks, they don't care. They're still making money off it.
Hey, listen, we saw NXT still survive through this shit. TNA still survives, right? But that's a different monster because they're owned by a network, so that's different. But other than that, I'm going to close it out here on this segment. Mike, let everybody know we can connect with us at what's going on.
You can follow us on Instagram and on X, Instagram at Turnbuckle Tab, and on X on our new one at TurnTab Pod.
Check us out on all the social media outlets on Facebook as well as on the YouTubes and Twitches and the TikToks as well. We had a good following today on TikTok. Thanks for you guys who stuck around and was checking us out on the Instagrams and on the TikTok lives. All the people who chimed in and checked in, thank you for your insight and such, and also for you guys. Got much more content coming to you. Got big things going on. Want to do some more. I'm about to do some streaming. Mike, you want to do some streaming video game wise soon?
I would love to join you with that, sir.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm almost done with what I got to do over there. New download on a newer DLC came out for 2K. Have you played it yet?
Not yet, because they put in another update immediately after that, so I couldn't do shit.
Okay. I'm going to check that out as well. So, as always, guys, like, subscribe, be a part of the vibe of Turnbuckle Tabloid. And thank you guys for checking in. And as always, got to hit that outro because I don't want Mark to complain. See you guys in a sec.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Always in lemon. Let's go out.
Turnbuckle Tabloid.